Welcome back to my channel. And if you are visiting my space for the first time, you are also highly welcome. This is another quiz time. And in this section, we'll be looking at some structured questions that are related to the shoulder girdle. I've put up a lecture on the shoulder girdle. If you've not checked up that lecture, I would advise you go and check that video up for taking up this quiz. So write down with me as we go through some questions on the shoulder girdle. The first question we'll be looking at is the following are joints of the shoulder girdle, except the sternoclavicular joint? Is it except the acromioclavicular joint? Is it except the scapulothoracic joint? Or is it except the sternocostal joint? Out of all these listed options, the correct answer here is the sternocostal joint. The sternocostal joint is not a joint formed within the shoulder girdle, while the other joints listed here are joints that are formed within the shoulder girdle. And this includes the sternoclavicular joint, which exists between the sternal end of the clavicle and also the clavicular notch of the manubrum, and also the acromioclavicular joint that exists between the acromion of the scapula and also the acromial end of the clavicle. And lastly, here we have the scapulothoracic joint, which exists between the medial border of the scapula and also the ribs. So all the above listed here are correct as it relates to the shoulder girdle, except the sternocostal joint, which is formed between the sternum and also the costal cartilages. This joint is formed within the rib cage and not within the shoulder girdle. Hence, this is the correct option. Now, the second question, and this reads that the acromioclavicular joint connects the dash with the dash. Is it seen to connect the sternal end of the clavicle to the acromion of the scapula? Or is it seen to connect the acromion of the scapula to the clavicular notch of the manubrum? Or is it seen to connect the acromial end of the clavicle to the acromion of the scapula? Or finally, is it seen to connect the sternal end of the clavicle to the clavicular notch of the manubrum? Out of all the listed options, the correct answer here is the acromial end of the clavicle to the acromion of the scapula. The acromioclavicular joint is a joint that exists between the acromial end, which is the lateral end of the clavicle, with the acromion of the scapula. So this is where this joint exists. Hence, this is the correct option. Now, the third question, and this reads that the medial end of the clavicle articulates with dash. Is it seen to articulate with the clavicular notch of the manubrum? Is it seen to articulate with the coracoid process of the scapula? Is it seen to articulate with the costal notch of the sternum? Or is it seen to articulate with the acromion of the scapula? The correct answer here is the clavicular notch of the manubrum. We know that the clavicle is a modified long bone that has two ends. It is seen to have the sternal end and also the acromial end. The sternal end is the medial end, and it is through this end that it articulates with the clavicular notch of the manubrum. Hence, this is the correct option. Now let's go to the fourth question, and this reads that the shoulder girdle is the shoulder girdle a complete ring formed by the clavicle, the scapula, the vertebrae, and also the sternum? Is the shoulder girdle a cartilaginous unit of the appendicular skeleton? Is the shoulder girdle an incomplete ring formed by the clavicle and the scapula? Or is the shoulder girdle a component of the axial skeleton? The correct option here, as it relates to the shoulder girdle, is that the shoulder girdle is an incomplete ring that is formed anteriorly by the clavicle and posteriorly by the scapula. We already described this also in details in our previous lecture on the shoulder girdle. Hence, this is the correct answer. Now, the fifth question, and this reads that the action of the subclavius on the first rib is it for elevation of the first rib? Is it for depression of the first rib? Is it for abduction of the first rib? Or is it all of the above? The correct answer here as it relates to the subclavius exerting its action on the first rib is to help elevate the first rib. And this is usually seen during expiration. Now let's go to the sixth question. And this reads that the sternoclavicular joint is classified specifically as dash. Is it classified as a hinge joint? Is it classified as a plain synovial joint? Is it classified as a fibrous joint? Or is it classified as a saddle type of synovial joint? The correct answer here as it relates to the classification of the sternoclavicular joint is a saddle synovial type of joint. The sternoclavicular joint is a synovial type of joint, but it is specifically classified as a saddle type of synovial joint. And this is as a result of the concave convex alignment of its articular surfaces. Now let's go to the seventh question, and this reads that the acromioclavicular joint is classified specifically as dash. Is it classified as a hinge joint? Is it classified as a plain type of synovial joint? Is it classified as a fibrous joint, or is it a saddle type of synovial joint? The correct answer here as it relates to the classification of the acromioclavicular joint is that it is a plain type of synovial joint. We already also described these in details in our previous lecture on the shoulder girdle. Now let's go to the eighth question, and this reads that the shoulder girdle is formed by the following bones. Is it the scapula and the clavicle, the radius and the ulna? Is it the sternum and the ribs, or is it the ribs and the vertebrae? The correct answer here as it relates to the structural component of the shoulder girdle is the scapula and the clavicle. These two bones are seen to connect together to form the shoulder girdle. The ninth question, this reads that the acromioclavicular joint is supported by dash. Is it supported by the sternoclavicular ligament? Is it supported by the costoclavicular ligament? Is it supported by the coracoclavicular ligament, or is it none of the above? The correct option here as it relates to the ligamentous support of the acromioclavicular joint is the coracoclavicular ligament. The coracoclavicular ligament is seen to be connecting the coracoid process of the scapula to the acromial end of the clavicle. This ligament is made up of two subsets, which include the conoid ligament and also the trapezoid ligament. These two ligaments, the conoid ligament and also the trapezoid ligament, is what unites or come together to form the coracoclavicular ligament. And at this point, it is seen to be providing support for the acromioclavicular joint. Hence, this is the correct option. We go back to the sternoclavicular ligament, which is the first option here. This is the ligament that connects the sternal end of the clavicle to the manubrum of the sternum, while the costoclavicular ligament is seen to be connecting the clavicle with the first costal cartilage. Third option here, which is the coracoclavicular ligament, is the correct answer because it is seen to be reinforcing or supporting the acromioclavicular joints. Now let's go to the 10th question, which is the last question. And this reads that which of the following statements concerning the shoulder girdle is correct? Is it the fact that it allows for a wider range of limb movement than the pelvic girdle? We know that we have another girdle that is located around the lower limb, which is the pelvic girdle. The second option here reads that the shoulder girdle is an interconnecting network between the axial and the appendicular skeleton. While the third statement here reads that the shoulder girdle contains a number of bones that are linked at joints. While the last option here reads all of the above. The correct answer here as it relates to the statement concerning the shoulder girdle here is all of the above. All of the above listed statements are correct about the shoulder girdle. The shoulder girdle allows for a wider range of movement of the upper limb when compared with the allowance that is created by the pelvic girdle on the lower limb. It is also an interconnecting network that will link the axial with the appendicular skeleton. We already also described this in details in our previous lecture on the shoulder girdle. The third option, which reads that the shoulder girdle contains a number of bones that are linked at joints. This is also correct about the shoulder girdle. Therefore, the last option, which reads all of the above, is the correct answer. Thanks for taking this quiz, and I would like to have your grades in the comment section. I hope you find this useful for your exams on the upper link.